Welcome to the Board Game Network. This is James. I am going to be explaining how to play this game called California Gold, put out by Numbskull Games, designed by Patrick Stevens. It plays 3 to 5 players in an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it says 8 years and up. I have the pieces, the blue pieces out here, and here's your setup. You just got your money out here. You got your farm reports. Those are all shuffled. You have your Grove cards. Those are all shuffled. You deal 6 face up. Here, you put one of your worker tokens for each color that's playing out here on the no effect optimal space of the working conditions. You get $20. Here's the starting player marker. So whoever's going to be the starting player gets that. You get dealt 6 farm report cards, each player. And you get 1 packing. You get 1 packing house, and you get your chips here. And the point of your chips is you put your chip underneath one of the buildings that you're building over here, and that marks it as your chip or your building. So whoever the first player is, he's going to take his packing house and he's going to pick one of the counties, and then going counterclockwise, so going to the right, people are going to pick their counties that they're going to put their packing house in with the chip underneath it. And then once it gets all the way around the table, the first player token goes to the left 1 space. So the last person that puts a packing house out, he becomes the first player. And you can put more than 1 packing house in a county, that's fine. And you can even put more than one of your color of packing house in a county eventually in this game. So that is the setup. Your goal in this game is to get the most number of Grove cards. That's all. There is money in the game. You can be rich and wealthy and still lose the game. The only purpose for money is it helps you buy stuff over here, and if there's a tie at the end of the game, the person that has the most money is the winner. So it's a tiebreaker at the end of the game. You have a reference card for each player, and it tells you exactly what you can do here, and it has a summary of all of the farm report cards on the back here. So here's your choices during your turn. You can do any of these. These are main actions. There's listed 9 of them here. There's also a 10th, which is to pass. But you can do any of these one time, and then it becomes the next player's turn. And once you go all the way around the table, then the first player token passes. And at the end of the second round, that's a round, once everybody's gone once, the first player token passes, then he becomes the first player, and then it passes, and then that person becomes the first player. At the end of the second round, the first player, whoever gets that token, plays a farm report card out. Farm report cards are normally bad. They normally hurt people if they don't have some kind of something. If they're not advertising, or they don't have political lobbying or something. Or if their working conditions are bad, something of that nature. And you got 6, so you can play stuff out that try not to hurt yourself, but to hinder other people. And there is a lot of following the leader in this game. If you see somebody that's going to be the first player and he puts money down for advertising, hey, I might want to advertise too, because you don't know what kind of report card he's putting, farm report card he's putting down, and you may like, I'm gonna follow his lead on that. Okay, so here's the 9 different choices for main actions. Buy and place a building. So you can buy another. You can buy another packing house, which are the orange ones, and you can put it down anywhere. Now let me show you that the number here is the number of cards there are for that county in the deck. So you can see that Fresno, there's only 3 cards in the whole deck, whereas Los Angeles County, there's 12. So there's going to be a lot more. Regardless of what's here at the beginning of the game, you can tell how many are coming. So use that as a gauge on whether you want to be putting packing houses down there. Something else you want to know is every round, when you get ready, the round is ended, everybody on the working conditions goes down 1 space, and it costs to move your worker back up, and it costs based on how many packing houses you have. So the more packing houses you have, the more expensive it is to keep your workers happy. So there's this dynamic especially during the beginning of the game, when you're low on money. You want to have a bunch of packing houses so you can pick up cards, but it makes it prohibitively expensive to increase the working conditions. So don't just randomly start throwing packing houses out at the beginning of the game. That's my strategy tip for this game. So packing houses cost 5. Greenhouses or nurseries, they cost based on what this number is, and you put it down, you put a chip on it in whatever county, and that lets you actually take a second card for this county only. So instead of taking 1 card, you could end up taking 2 cards for that county. An agency building, if you buy that, that costs 10. It tells you right here. And that gives you a second agency action. Normally you get 1 main action and you get a second supplemental action that are agency actions, and those are the things over here. They're spending over here. And those are 5 through 8 on your action reference card here. So those are the 3 kinds of buildings. Adding a member. Adding a member is simply taking a Grove card and putting it down in front of you. Now to take a Grove card, you have to have a packing house in the county that you want to take a Grove card for. So San Bernardino here, if I'm orange, I look down here and like, well, there's no San Bernardino, so I can't even take a action number 2, add a member. I cannot take one of those cards. So at the beginning of the game, when you're throwing these down, you definitely want to look to see what's available. Maybe I want to build in Riverside at the beginning of the game instead. So if I have Riverside, I can take one of these cards. Now if you look at the county, it shows you what kinds of trains, what company of trains goes through that county. So this one has Union Pacific and it has Santa Fe. There's only 3 different ones. There's also Southern. And then it tells you also that there's Valencia Naval Oranges. The W is Washington Navals. So W means Naval Oranges. V means Valencia Oranges. And then if you look at the card, the Grove card, you'll notice that it tells you the county that it's for here. It matches the color. It tells you what train, and it tells you the kind of orange for that Grove. So once you've added a member, then you just flip over another card and replace it. So that's number 2. And each of your packing houses only supports 3 groves. So once you get, at some point in the game, you get to where you have 3 Riverside cards out here, then this packing house is full and you cannot get any more Riverside without putting another packing house down in that county. then you could get 3 more. And you should stack your cards, your Grove cards, in county order. So you can keep track of, you've got 3 of these, or a stack of 3, a stack of 3, a stack of 3. So you can keep track of if you got your packing houses full. Number 3, all 9 actions that you have. The 5, 6, 7, and 8, those are the agency actions, or the supplemental actions. And so you get a main action, which is any of the 9, and then you can also have a supplemental, which is 5, 6, 7, or 8. So you can actually do 5, 6, 7, or 8 twice if one of those. So once you've gone all the way around, the end of round happens in this order. You pass the first player token, all the workers go down 1 space, and then whoever has the first player token, he has to choose first whether he wants to move his workers up. And the cost for moving them up is, for every space, it costs you $1 per packing house you have. So if you've got 2 packing houses out there, it costs you $2 to move it up 1 space. If you're all the way down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to move it all the way up, and you've got 2 packing houses, that's $10 to move it all the way up. And you can move up as far as you want, as much as you can afford in a round. And then it just rotates to the next player, the next player, next player. So the first player decides whether he wants to move first. And then that first player then picks a farm report card to play, starting with the end of the second round. And so the game ends when, and it's down here at the bottom of your reference card. If you've got 3 players, when somebody gets to 21, 21 Grove cards, 4 players is 15 Grove cards, 5 players is 12 Grove cards, and you go ahead and finish the round once somebody gets to that number. So there can be more than one person tying, or like if you have your nursery, if you have a nursery out, you may be able to pull more than 1 card off of here. But you can never pull more than 2. So it doesn't matter if you've got a Grove over there, a nursery over there, a nursery over here. You still can't pull 3 cards. You can still only pull 2 Grove cards per round maximum. So you go ahead and finish the round, and then whoever has the most Grove cards is the winner. And again, if there's a tie, then whoever has the most money from between those tying. That's how you play California Gold. Make sure you tune into all of our videos here at the Board Game Network to keep up to date on how to play board games and card games.